So I just want to introduce myself. My name is Matthew Shaw. I'm going to be your host. So I'm going to be up here very briefly, but have the honor of introducing actually one of my good buddies and friends. We went to UCF together. I've known him for a little bit over 10 years. It's been a little while. Don't want to date myself, but we know each other for a little while. I know there's a couple nights in the room, so go nights as well too. Oh, that was like the best ever. Awesome. Even when we were on UCF campus, it wasn't that good. Anyway, so, but a little bit about his background. He moved up from South Florida to come up to University of Central Florida. He majored in finance and accounting. Met his lovely wife Ann there as well. He graduated with a bachelor's in finance and accounting. Went to the corporate world. His wife Ann, she graduated with communications and marketing. She worked for one of the largest IT companies in the U.S., IBM, and finished her career out in Staples. Eddie, on the other hand, he started out as a staff-level accountant, worked his way all the way up to a senior-level accountant for a real estate investment trust in downtown Orlando. Made pretty decent money, did that for over 7 years. But while he was there, just realized that he was worth more than the salary that he was getting paid. Did very well. Within 3 years, replaced his income and his wife's income, well over six-figure earners together. So they did that. And one of the biggest things you're going to notice tonight is what he has actually done, he's going to teach. So he's not teaching from theory or a book. He's actually done it. So that's one of the best things to know. So let me bring him up. Without any further ado, one of my good buddies, my good friends, Eddie St. John. Give him a round of applause.
All right. Thanks. All right. But so how's everybody doing? Good. Okay, just want to echo Matt and welcome tonight to our little networking event. We're going to chat. We decided to bring the best and brightest together on a Tuesday to talk about business and talk about moving things forward and opportunity. And what else could you talk about on a Tuesday evening, huh? Right? I don't know. What are the hot shows on Tuesday evenings now? I'm so unplugged. I don't know. I know they lump everything on Thursdays. That's when Scandal used to be. And is it still Flash? You know, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air used to come on Tuesday nights. That was my generation. If that was still on, you know, I might be, what's Carlton doing? Okay. So good to have you out this evening, and hopefully you did get a chance to mix and mingle and network a little bit like Matt was saying. What I'm going to do is take the next, I'd say 40 to 45 minutes to get into the details. That's what I'm going to talk to you about. So if you are a detail-oriented individual, you'll like it. But at the same time, I'm pretty high level too, you know, that type of thing. So we'll get into it. And basically what I'm going to cover tonight is what I really appreciated when I saw was a way to increase my income outside of being an accountant. So hopefully I probably don't relate to many of you as an accountant. Are you guys okay with listening to an accountant for the next 45 minutes to an hour? Are you all right with that? Okay. I promise I won't be boring. Does that make sense? But you're probably not going to relate that much. But maybe you relate to my story. Maybe it's not the industry that you're from, but my story was getting coached from very early as a child from my parents. Go to school, get a degree, finish it for me, get a job, absolutely. And then as you kick butt, you will get promoted. People will notice you, and then you'll end up where you want to be. Well, I'm kind of a high octane individual. I like to move. I like to go. I don't know if you relate with that piece, but as I stepped into corporate America, it just didn't move as fast as I would have liked it. Not talking bad about anybody. Wasn't not appreciative of the opportunities that I had. I just wanted to excel. I just wanted to do well. You know, I have kind of an old-fashioned spirit inside of me. So even though I played around when I was young, I still recognize that life is short, man. If we're going to do it, let's do it to the best of our abilities. So that's why I was very attracted to what I'm going to show you now. So let's get into it. You know, how you found your way in this room. You know, maybe you're sitting there saying, how did I even get here? Who, you know, this type of thing. Somebody that you know, or maybe somebody that you're starting the process of getting to know. How many people in here are not done making all the friends that you have in life? I love that thought process. Like, if you think, you know, some of the best friends, men and women that I will know, maybe I haven't even met yet, you know, but maybe someone who you're in the process of getting to know, let you know that there's a business team in the area. We're growing. We're working with some great, phenomenal companies. I'll touch base on some of those in a second. And we're looking for some ambitious folks, you know, accountable folks. Those are like the double A's that I like putting on people. Let me just define what I think both of them mean. Accountability means your word means your word. You say you're going to be somewhere, you are. Many of you that said, hey, I'd be out here tonight, check off the box with accountability. You're here, right? And then people that are ambitious. To me, that's not a bad thing. Ambition just means I'm doing good, but I'd like to do better. How can I do better? How can I increase? How can I have a better lifestyle? So that's what we're going to talk about tonight, you know, not to get ahead of myself, but that word lifestyle is something that I'm going to talk to you about tonight. So what I'm not showing you tonight is some 9 to 5, some job, something that you can just clock in, get a paycheck and clock out. That is not the definition of lifestyle as we see it. The definition of lifestyle, by the way that we define it, is the combination of both time and money. How good does that sound? Not just having a Porsche, and driving it somewhere, parking it at 6 in the morning and not taking it home till 6 p.m. But how about taking that Porsche out on I-4 at 2 in the afternoon? That's a combination of time and money. Usually, if you had one or the other growing up, you never had both at the same time. People at some point in your life had a lot of time, you weren't working, had no money, right? So that's not that fun. The time's fun, but that gets old. Or maybe you've been at companies like myself where they're paying you really well, but you're working 55, 60 hours a week. Some weeks you don't even want to clock the hours that you're working. So I'm talking tonight about something very unique, something that will give you the lifestyle that my wife and I were after of time and money. So we'll get into that. So let's start a little bit with the income potential. What type of income can you make working with our organization? With what time? All that good stuff, Everybody in here is definitely in a different place in life. There are some people that you're going to school, and that's what you're doing. Some people are going to school and working, a little part-time job, a little, something that's putting some change in your pocket, but you're not tied to it. You're not committed. Some of you are maybe deep into your career like I was, 5, 6, 7 years into your career, making decent income, this type of thing, but you're just thinking about how to do better. It doesn't matter where you're at. I'm going to show you how to take a little bit of time to start achieving that lifestyle mark. So here we go. So first thing we're going to talk about is the first income level is a little program called Fast Track, aka training, but it's a 3 to 6 month goal. How many people like goals? I bet everybody's hands up. I'm not even looking. But basically, the first goal that we're going to set you on is to increase your income to the tune of $400 to $600 a month. If you take that out a year, you've just given yourself a $5,000 to $7,200 raise. How many people would be excited if you went into your job tomorrow and your boss called you and said, Doug, come on in here. We're going to show you a 3 to 6 month goal on how to add $5,000 onto your income. How many people would be excited about that, right? You go, what do I need to do? What does this entail? Okay. So $5,000, $7,200, rounded up there. Then you have Project One. Now, Project One, this is really more of the same of the first thing, but it's just a little bit more time, if you will. This is taking about 5 hours a week. This is taking about 5 to 10 hours in a week. Okay. But Project One, this is a $3,000 to $4,400 income. Take that out a year. That's $36K to $52K. That caught my eye. Average UCF graduate's about $32,000 pre-tax, 4-year degree. It's ridiculous, right? So 36 to 52, 8. Okay. That's a 12 to 18 month goal. Wife and I wrapped it up right there. 18 months, 12 to 18 month goal. Okay. And then you have Project Two. So if you need to see a little bit more income than that, $8,000 to $12,000 a month. How many people are interested in a 6-figure lifestyle? Okay, that puts you in top 2% of America. You don't hurt for bills. You don't worry about living paycheck to paycheck. You don't have more month than income. I remember living like that, as a college student where my income ran out around the 17th, but there was more days left in the month. You know what I'm saying? Not fun, right? But so you don't have any of that stuff. But when you're making this type of income, that doesn't happen to you. You can even prepay bills. You can take care of family here and there. There's just different options that you can exercise when you got stuff like that. But this is about 12 hours a week plus. And I won't even put time frames on it, but just with a minimum. If you have the question that I had, hey, what type of time are you asking? That's what I'm talking about, okay? All right, so let's get right into it, if we will. Hold on. There's absolutely no smooth way to take off a jacket quickly, just straight jacket action. Like I always tell my wife, there's no manly way to eat an ice cream cone. You know what I'm saying? You just have to bite it. There's other than that, you're not looking the most manliest right there. So, all right, that's important to me in life. Okay. So let's talk about what we do and how we do it. Okay, big picture conversation. We help companies do 2 things. We help them grow their profitability and we help them grow their loyalty. That's really the 2 things that we do. But we are experts at doing that online. That's our business model. That's our approach. So companies want to increase their profitability and loyalty in other ways. We don't help with that. We focus online. And let me talk about why that is. And not only is it what is necessary today, but what it is absolutely necessary for in the future. Bill Gates said it like this. There's going to be 2 types of companies in the future. Companies that are online and companies that are out of business. You guys agree with that? So did every CEO that heard that when it was said. And this was, decades back. But moral of the story, what they found, hindsight being 2020, they found that doing business online is awesome for expense purposes. We don't have to hire employees. We don't have to build more brick and mortar. The only thing it's bad for is loyalty. And that's something that you just can't sacrifice as a business owner. Does that make sense? And here's what that means. When I walk into a store, let's say I'm looking for a new tie, and I walk into a store, maybe it's Joseph A. Banks or Men's Warehouse, whatever. I'm really hoping that the style that I want, the pattern that I want, the color that I want, I'm hoping that it's at that store. Does that make sense? Nobody budgets their entire Saturday afternoon to drive around 15 stores to get the absolute perfect price and tie. Nobody does that. However, when I'm doing business online, flip it. I'm the exact opposite. As a matter of fact, I don't even want to purchase something until I visited 15 websites. Does that make sense? Not cool for business owners. That's a very dangerous game to play where they're like, okay, now we're cheaper than Craigslist. Craigslist was built by a third grader. They haven't updated their websites, right? That's crazy. We all expect other websites to update. Craigslist, still Mississippi is still misspelled. It's terrible. Okay, check it when you go home. But so in we come. We say, okay, we're going to help you gain that profitability online, but we're also going to help you gain your traction. Here's how we're going to do it. We represent 50 plus companies. Cool. What does 50 plus give us the benefit of? Market flexibility. So if you're taking notes, I want you to write that down. That's probably one of the most important things that you're looking at with what I'm showing you right now. Market flexibility. What that gives, it's the reason why people say stuff like diversify your portfolio, meaning if one stock is tanking, hopefully the other 4 that you've invested in are doing all right. Does that make sense? So when you are across industry, if one industry is not doing so good, hopefully other industries are doing great. Right? Watch this. What if you were one of the biggest investors in Blockbuster, right? At one point in time, people envied you. People wanted to look at your portfolio, but due to market circumstances, not anything that Blockbuster did wrong, you would have gone through the roof, the floor, just like they did. So market flexibility is important. So we represent 50 companies. We spread them out across industries, and I'm going to talk about what we do with them and how we do it. So companies over here, we have 2 categories. We keep things very simple. We have our primaries and then our secondaries. The brands and the companies that we represent are only going to fit into one or the other. And it's based on profitability. Guys in the primaries, anywhere from 3 to 25% is what they'll pay you for the services that we provide. Okay, so just track with me. Companies in our secondaries, anywhere from 2 to 12%. Not as good as primary, but obviously better than nothing. Okay. Now, who is who and what is what? Well, companies in our primaries, we like to identify as circumstance-proof industries, meaning no matter what's happening in your personal economy, you will still need to perform in this industry. Has anybody ever thought of that? I don't know if you have, but a lot of the stuff that I say tonight is very common sense. Once I say it, it makes perfect sense. But you think about the things in your life that you need in your home, need on your person, need whatever. A car is one of the first things that pops into mind, that no matter what your personal economy is doing, this is a necessity. Does this make sense? This isn't a luxury item at all. So that's who we like placing in our primaries, because what they've shown is economy proof existence. They survive a lot of the ups and downs, and these past 10 to 15 years have been some of the most trying times for business, but these guys do extremely well. So who are they? Skincare and cosmetics is one of the brands we represent. Wasn't interested in this world at all for obvious reasons. However, my wife was, and I was able to go to her and say, hey, honey, we're going to represent a brand online that's all natural, organic, official skincare line from Miss America. I want you to try it because we're in a relationship with these companies where we raise their profitability and raise their loyalty. So the first way in which we do that, we call personal volume creation. Does everybody understand what that phrase means? I don't really have to unpack that, right? Volume is just a business word that owners use to represent what moved. How many units of volume did we move from the bread aisle? That Wonder Bread is killing it, that type of thing or whatever, right? More of that. So personal volume creation. So I just want to use one example. My wife was a Mac in Shiseido and what else, babes? Clinique, okay, these things. You know, anybody ever go into Ulta and go, just let me know when we're ready to leave? Anybody ever do that? But the stuff comes in. So I said, try this stuff, babes, because there's something called personal volume creation that a lot of these brands we represent, we can also personally use. So if you're going to use skincare and cosmetics anyway, take a look at the brand that we have. And hey, no pressure, babes. If you like it, cool. And if you don't like it, cool. But I'm really hoping that you do like it, because these companies are going to reward us and pay us to be loyal to them. I'll say it again. They're going to pay us to be loyal to them. Now, you might have heard of that before. There's tons of different programs. You can't go to a cash register today and them not ask you, are you a part of our rewards program, right? To the point where you're like, no, and I don't want to be. But it'll benefit you. I'm tired of the question. Anybody else, right? In the beginning, it was, oh my gosh, well, you're going to, okay. Everybody does it. But have you found something with the market flexibility that we bring to the table? That's big. So, personal volume creation, she tries it, absolutely loves it. The 15th of the following month, we get a check based on how much we spent with this brand. So what's powerful about that is, was she going to use skincare and cosmetics anyway? Any ladies in the room, and fellas too, I'm talking both industries, not just cosmetics. Raise your hand if tomorrow or sometimes this week, you're going to involve yourself with skincare and cosmetics. There you go. So that's the power of what we do. It's that circumstance-proof stuff. So let's just keep moving down the list. Health and wellness is one of the brands. This was one of the ones that I was very interested in. Why? Because this is what I was doing. I was using protein shakes. I was looking for good pre-workout. I was using creatine when that was hot before they figured out what it did to you. And I'm like, oh, that's what that was. Okay, never mind. So all that good stuff, but now we represent #1 selling vitamin line in the world, dietary supplements called Nutrilite. We'll get you introduced to all these brands later on, but just get the concept tonight. But how cool is that you can take care of yourself and at the same time take care of your bank account? That's how I look at that with Nutrilite. Let's move on. How about stuff for the home? This is more primary stuff, things that you need to clean your bathtub. How many people have to clean? Necessary evil. Put it off as long as you can. But when you have to do it, you go reach under here or you go reach here. That's the medicine cabinet. You pull stuff out, you clean with it. What if you were in a relationship with a company or a brand that says, if you keep loyal to us, and we're pretty sure that you will, and you go to the company, well, don't act like you know me. How do you think I'm going to be loyal to you? We're going to pay you on the 15th of the following month. And at that point, we just have to break down and go, well, tell me how that works, you know? Because think of the companies that you do business with today. If they were willing to pay you to come back the following month, how much more loyal would you be to them? Would you at least give it a second thought to say, how can I get to Starbucks more if Starbucks is willing to pay? You don't have to think that hard. Everybody else a Starbucks fan? Everybody just middle of the day, middle of the night, middle of the morning, middle of the holiday? I need a Starbucks. Okay, anyway, I'm thinking right now. So you think about this stuff, and Starbucks is one of our companies too. They're in the primaries. I'll talk about them. We have a relationship with a meat company. So every time that we cook up ground beef or cook up steak, I mean, you get the idea, but over 50 plus companies. Let's go to the secondaries. Now, these guys still do heavy brick and mortar. Therefore, there's less money to go around. They pay us less. But who do you got there? Dell. Anybody know them? How about Apple? Anybody ever heard of them? 8% in-store discount, 18% online discount, all this good stuff. Who else? NikeStore.com, Target, Bye Bye Baby. We just had our first child, 7 months, didn't know how many times you need to use this stuff. I was just in Babies R Us the other day. I'm looking around like, who would have thought I'd be in Babies R Us? I'll take the playpen, thank you. That's all right. But what's awesome about that is we get points, we get paid for that. Best Buy is one of our brands. So if you're an electronic head, so I'm just going through some of them, but 50 plus, we'll get into it. But let's get into how this actually works, the important part, okay? We have a bonus scale that we'll introduce you to later. Don't feel like you have to get everything in this setting, because you don't. Tonight, there was really 2 reasons why I invited you out, 2 reasons why the person who invited you out. One, wanted to meet you, get to know you a little bit, okay? That's all right. I'm a little old-fashioned like that, and that's how I train my leadership. Hey, let's start relationships face-to-face. That's the best way to go about it, you know? So that's step 1. Step 2 is, let's give you a helicopter view of what's happening, you know, kind of, okay, I can see what's going on. And then if you like the city that you see, if you like the cityscape, then we'll land the helicopter and we'll go through the streets and we'll get into some details. Is that fair enough? So coming out of here, what we have is a 3rd step where we land the helicopter based on, you know, the connectivity that we have, mutual connectivity. We'll sit one-on-one, no ties, no anything like that. We'll get to know each other a little bit, and then we'll go through the city streets, talk details, this type of thing, okay? So, but here's our bonus scale. It goes from 3% to 25%. Over here stands for points and volume. We have a 2.8 to 1 ratio with companies in our primaries that we like them to adhere to. Meaning for every $2.80 that we either spend or through our next steps, we want 1 point in volume. Does that make sense? And that's how we know how we're paid. That's how you'll know how you're paid. You're working with me, you'll come to me 1 month and say, hey, Eddie, I am a 300, therefore I know I'm gonna get 6% back on everything that I spent, right? If my wife creates 100 points in our skincare and cosmetic line, 100 points, we're gonna get a 3% kickback and so on and so forth. So you get the idea. So personal volume creation, we just start with 100 points. And I kind of gave you a tour of my day. You know, if I had to really put it into layman's terms, the mattress that my wife and I sleep on, we got through one of the brands, right? The pillows, the ones that, you know, it's the imprint of your head. You ever see that commercial where they put the wine glass at the bottom of the bed? Yeah, that was through one of the brands that we represent. I go into the bathroom, everything from the shampoo and conditioner, toothpaste, aftershave lotion, toothbrush, my wife's stuff, all that stuff we get through the brands here. Why not? They were going to pay us for our loyalty. I go into the kitchen. Maybe I'm running late that morning for an appointment or whatever. I like to get a pre-made meal replacement shake, a meal bar, non-GMO, non-gluten-free. If you're into that stuff, we only partner with the best. We'll introduce you to that as we go along. But all that stuff is to the tune of 100 points. If you like examples like I do to understand, watch this example. Think of Michael Jordan. He wakes up in the morning. What type of t-shirt do you think he has on? Hanes. Does everybody know why? What were you thinking? Fruit of the Loom? Nike? You're both right. If it's a cold night, both. Right? But why? And the reason you thought that and the reason you answered that, because he might love Fruit of the Loom. He might love Adidas, but he's not contracted with those suckers for loyalty purposes. He goes out and takes a jog. Man, those velour Puming jogging suits are some of the best looking jogging suits I've ever seen in my life. No matter how good they look, how much you want to bet, that's not what Jordan has on his chest. He probably has his own little symbol. Everybody know that symbol I'm talking about? Symbols recognized throughout the world, top 5, just like Coca-Cola. He comes home, he's thirsty. It's time to put some electrolytes back into his body. What is he drinking? Gatorade. Has anybody had Gatorade? Colored water is what I call it. I don't like it. Does that make sense? Michael drinks it. This is why I can dunk. Now you drink it. That's how it works. So 100 points there, all right? Second step, we'll show you how to create some clients. Not a big deal. Think of this like recommending some stuff. How many people have ever recommended something? Silly question, right? I've recommended a good place to get a steak, a good place to get a haircut. You can recommend some things that you've tried to the tune of 50 points. When you do that, just a quick example, 150 points, what is your kickback? What does that mean in dollars? $108.50. You know what's powerful about what I just showed you? Each and every one of you are already making 100 points in your household right now, if not more. You're just not in a relationship with any companies that'll pay you for that. Does that make sense? So if you're willing to take the time, now what is the time? What is time? Well, time is precious, but what is the time? Well, if you hearing that there was a chance for you to increase your income made you think it's a good idea to come out here for an hour to see how it can work for you, then that's good. That's time well spent. Would you guys agree with that? Now, when I'm telling you that you already make $108, you just need to meet some of the brands that are willing to pay you for that. Now, is it also a good idea to take maybe 30 more minutes to see how that works? That's our second step coming out of here. Does this make sense? So yes, I am at, what do you say, what are you asking for me? A little bit of time to check this out. But you got to understand, how else are you going to know what exists out there and what would be good for you? So I can't give you everything in one night. You know, just even tonight is like taking a drink of water from a fire hydrant. You know what I'm saying? Get that picture in your head real quick, you know? Okay, red, right? But we break it down into steps. Okay, so 108.50. Now here, I call this a couple of things. I call that is a coupon. It sounds funny, but it's not. How many people are coupons out there? Coupon clippers, right? I mean, I'm not asking you, but think about these things that they say super coupon clippers, right? Where they like make money at the register or something, or they pay like 25 cents and that type of thing. Well, I think in my head, that'd be great. I'm just not doing that. I want to out earn that. Anybody else with me? No, I want to make so much income, not to be mean, not to go knock on the neighbor's door and say I'm making more than you, to where I don't have to spend time clipping coupons. Is that just me? Can we get an agreement on that? Awesome. I'm not talking bad if you do. However, there can be a better way. Let's at least chat. You know, let's talk. That type of thing. Let's explore. Okay. So I call that a good coupon. Also, what I call this is your first ROI. Write that down if you're taking notes. Return on investment. Okay. Now, the return on investment piece, this is how business owners think. Business owners think, what am I getting back for what I'm giving? Okay. So now you don't want to ask that question too early, but it's important to kind of know what the plan is. So return on investment. So one of the first things that we do is we get licensed in order to represent these companies. Now, very similar to real estate agents. Real estate agents, before they sell a home, what do they have to do? They get licensed. You guys know that? Has anybody ever gotten a real estate license? I don't know if anyone's in here. Okay, nobody. I just wanted to get the definite number, but I've heard as much as, hundreds, $300, $400, $500 when it's all said and done. I just don't know. Okay. But how about anybody ever look at going to law school? Maybe being a lawyer, got inspired by the Cosbys? No, nobody. Okay. They're always home. How bad can it be? But to get the bar, to take that test, that's a lot of income. Finance, that's where I come from. To become a certified public accountant, you have to get licensed. Be a doctor, you have to get, there's all types of stuff. Now, is our license hundreds of dollars? No. We get licensed through the Amway Corporation, downtown Orlando. You guys see the Amway Center right there. They do business online. So here's what it is. It's $180 to get licensed with them. That's basically that. Now, what that entitles you to is now a sole proprietor business license. Okay. So let's unpack that. What is that? Let's talk a little bit. Okay. That's not a violation. Watch this. Okay. First thing you get, once again, is a sole proprietor business license. Does anybody have a business license right now? Okay. That's probably why, but you can be making so much more income at tax time with one of those. Here's why. Right now you get a W-2, correct? From work. That's that. It's basically giving you back money that you've earned all year. Now, when you have a business license, there are different tax forms that you can now access, totally legal. One of them being a 1099, where anything that you can legitimize as an expense to run your enterprise, you can now get, if not all of that, a significant percentage of it back. Does that make sense? The reason why I break that down, I'm not trying to talk silly to you. Finance grad from UCF, phenomenal school. Never once had a professor say, which one of you know how the tax codes work to make it work in your favor? I would have loved that question. I would have loved a test on how to make that happen on a year-to-year basis, right? But it just wasn't in the cards. So that's why I love talking about that. But that's step one right there. You get that 1099. So much so that, watch this, don't leave here not knowing this, that becomes what they call a write-off. Does that make sense? So you can get that back at the next year. Okay, watch this. Next thing now, you get membership. Membership with whom? How many people are already members with Apple? Part of the Apple ecosystem, like myself. If they come out with it, I've got to get it. You ever see that phrase, shut up and take my money? That's what Apple does to a lot of people. But how many people are part of the Samsung ecosystem? You've got that there. That's one of our brands as well, too. Do you bank? Do you bank with Bank of America? You can get a credit card from them, swipe, get points. There's so many different things. But we'll talk about that later. We start you off with 60 points in volume. So you're 10 points above the halfway mark on the first bonus schedule, okay? And then also get, I'd say about $200 worth of primary product lines that come right back into you. Basically, I'm unpacking this to show you a couple things. One, not a dime of that goes to me. That separates in about 4 or 5 different ways to get you set up properly so that day one we can start the process of increasing your income. Does that make sense? But you got to get some stuff set up first. So that's what that is. And then last but not least, you're working with a team/coach. Valuable pieces right there, because there's fear and doubt and the unknown in anything that you do. So to be anybody that says, hey, I got your back. I can help you through a couple of steps. Not a big deal. I'm not going to talk out of, theory or anything, based on what we've accomplished. Everybody that's a part of this organization knows how to create 150 points. Some people know how to create 300, 400. I've seen some high as 600 to 1,000 points. People know how to create that individually. So when you're working with someone like that, here's what they can all but guarantee you. I can show you how to create 150 points. So a lot of times you come to the table and you go, well, I didn't understand everything about what you talked about that night. This is what I understood. I wanted to make more income. There were people that were saying, hey, we're willing to help you do it if you just follow a couple of simple steps. So that's what that is, invaluable. So the reason I unpack that is because I think in life, whenever we see a cost, if you will, I'm going to call it an investment. I'm not scared of that word. I invested into my college education. They did not even let me come on without paying for an application fee. Does that make sense? That's where my investment started. Then it went to books and classes and housing and food on campus. I mean, heavily invested in that school. To do what? For the hopes that when I did this with my tassel, I would get a good return on my investment. People invest in things all day long. But here's how I think we quantify it. Does the value line up with the investment? So with my UCF degree, I was thinking, well, when I get a job, I get paid. That's going to balance that out. That's going to make it all worthwhile. So what do you get here? A business license, all these companies, 60 points, working with a team, and the ability to make money with products and brands that you're already using. In my opinion, the value outweighs the cost. Would you guys agree with that a little bit? That's how we look at that, right? Now, this 108, I identify this as being the first ROI because I like to put it up against that 180. Here's how. If this is outflow, you subtract the two, that's $72. Everybody see what I did there? That's how I look at that. So the question that you ask is $72 a worthwhile investment to work with a team of people that know what they're doing, that will coach you every step of the way, that you don't have to quit your full-time job in order to do. You can take about 5 to 6 hours a week to start the process of working on this. And I always recommend give it your best, and then let's see what we've got. No, this isn't a gym membership. Does this make sense? Okay, I don't even think they do that anymore, gyms. So next piece now, you say, well, I don't like you calling that 108 an ROI because I had to buy stuff in that personal volume in order to get that money back. I had to buy stuff. What I typically buy. Raise your hand if you have laundry detergent in your house right now. Raise it up high. Don't come on. Be truthful with me. All right. Raise your hand if you have to brush your teeth. You'll lie about other things, won't you? Okay. All right. That's accounting humor. It's never that funny. Raise your hand if you eat. Exactly. So you're already doing this 100 points. So let's move on. So let's talk about how bigger income comes into play. Maybe I was boring you with $108. Maybe you're like, all right, I didn't come out of my house on a Tuesday to see how to make $108. I appreciate that, but how do we increase that? That's step number 3. What will now teach you how to be is how to lead teams. Okay? And this takes, it's not overnight. It's not a big deal, but here's basically what the essence of leading teams are. Can you teach some people to do some stuff that you know how to do, right? How many people know how to get to a location, okay? How many people know how to order something offline? Anybody ever go Amazon.com, order something? So if I'm totally foreign, don't speak the language, don't speak computers, never did it, you could take your time and show me how to order something off of Amazon. Absolutely. So you can lead a team. So let's talk about this and what it entails and all that good stuff. So basically, the rule of thumb is the larger of a team that you have, the more people that are engaging with these companies. And what's so awesome, remember those 2 words, market flexibility, and the fact that you can bring companies to people like Apple that screams legitimacy, that screams you're already doing this anyway. Even if it's through Best Buy, any brand that you find in Best Buy, you can get 2 to 12% off of now. The fact that you can do that now gives you the ability to grow a team, okay? So what am I gonna take you through? I'm gonna take you through different steps of income and show you what that team's doing and all that good stuff. But let's start small. Everything, okay? I've been talking big numbers with you and a lot of, concepts, but let's start small because that's how we do everything. We start very chill, very step by step. So what does $400 to $600 look like? You have a team of about 3 to 6 people that are doing anywhere from 150 to 300 points in volume. That's really where we live. 3 to 6 folks, 3 to 6 people on your team. Not a big deal. Some of you already have a team of 3 to 6 people, right? Some of you, tomorrow you'll meet somebody at Chick-fil-A. I don't know. But what are these 3 to 6 people? Well, 2 criteria. I'm not training you right now because I'm not working with you yet. Decision is made after the 3rd step, but just high level, if I was, here's the first things I tell you about what you want for your team to make it a good team. Do you know, like, and respect each other, right? That's step 1. And then step 2 is, at this point in time, are they looking to increase their income? Want to increase their income, right? Immediately when I thought about that, I thought about my fraternity brothers, right? We all talked about it. Matt is one of my fraternity brothers. Sean, that was seating, he's one of my fraternity brothers. I started thinking about people at work. I thought of my girlfriend at the time, who's now my wife, right? I'm like, well, she makes good money, but why wouldn't she want to make more? I like her to make more. Our restaurants would be much nicer, that type of thing, right? So, so that's what that is. So we'll teach you the approach that we start training on, not tonight, but that approach is very important. Here's what I'd ask you. I met you on the way in, JP, Gianna, this type of thing. I'm not singling you out, but anybody who's seeing this for the first time, You understand what I'm telling you right now, okay? You can do laundry, eat some chicken breasts, ground beef, Best Buy, get paid for it. But just because you understand dentistry doesn't mean you should go try to pull somebody's tooth. Does that make sense? So we're very good with training. It's a philosophy called slow down to speed up. So one of the first things that we teach you is why there are approaches that actually work and why there are approaches that go, eh. Does that make sense? There's a difference, right? So it's that way in everything. How come some NBA teams can't go past 500? It's the same ball, same rim, same points on the court. What's the difference? Their approach, their philosophy about the game, the players, right? Their thought process on what they want to accomplish in a season. I mean, it's that way with everything. So we treat this like that as well too. There's a thought process that goes behind that. We're not just going to go try to get people. Hopefully no one just invited you out without talking to you first, without asking you a few questions about yourself, because we're particular in that. It's a selection process, okay? But that's important. It's easier to take flight with a few that are good, ambitious, accountable people than to have all these people that you got to drag. Does this make sense? That's the business formula of every company in America. That's it. Okay. So that's what's going on there. So not tonight, but that's what's happening there. The next goal that we're going to have for you is $1,800 to $2,250. Let's take this out a year. That's $21,000 to $27,000 a year. How many people would be all right with making that in your spare time? Right? That is so cool right there. And I'll tell you, when my wife and I hit that level, one of the things that happened, I was an accountant in the home building industry, and I was in both phases. I got in right when everybody was making so much bank. Like the sales departments, they were just throwing parties every Friday in the conference room. You're like, I should have did sales, that type of thing as you're crunching their salaries and all this stuff, right? So there was that phase of it, but we're Florida. I think it was Florida and Nevada and New Mexico was probably the top three that got hit the baddest. But I was also there when they were calling subcontractors saying, stop building. No need to go out to the site anymore. Leave that house spec, leave it frame. No one's buying anymore, right? Crazy times. So ended up getting laid off. And here's what happened. And you ever hear that story, dig your well before you're thirsty? Oh my gosh, you never know how good these cliche statements are until it actually happens to you. You know what I'm saying? You're like, oh, that's what that meant. Dig your well before you're thirsty. So as we got laid off, we had 3 incomes coming in. My wife, she used to work for IBM at the time. I was working for Pulte Homes. And when one of our incomes disappeared, which was my own, we had the third. Now, $1,800 wasn't what I was making. However, how many people know that's better than zero? Right? So that's what that dig your well before you're thirsty was. But it might mean something different to you. Maybe that's play money. Maybe that's savings. How many people would put $1,800 in savings and log into your bank account every hour on the hour and just go, that is awesome. That is awesome. That is awesome. They call you up like, there's been excessive logins in your bank, that type of thing. Hey, that's me. Okay. How many people would kind of divvy the two? Maybe some would go to savings. Maybe you take a long needed vacation that maybe you needed to take. Nothing crazy, nothing over the top, but maybe you just want to go stick your feet in the sand, maybe read a book poolside, maybe recharge, and you just know you're going to be a better version of yourself when you come back, right? What am I talking about right now? That's called lifestyle. Because what do you need in order to do those two things? Time and money. You need the time off and you need the income to go do that, right? How many people with $2,000 extra a month, rent is knocked out? How many people your rent is totally knocked out? Okay, so that's taken care of. How many people a car payment is taken care of with that? Okay, how many people have pets? We have a Siberian Husky home. How many people the pets get fed with that type of income too? They don't eat every month. No, I'm kidding. But they get fed, right? How many people takes care of your cell phone bill? Okay, so I'm thinking of all the general bills that everybody has. How many people that takes care of a school loan as well too? So $2,250 covers not only your rent or mortgage, but every bill that you have. See, remember, don't quit what you're doing. So now what you make as your primary source of income, that is serious play money. Does that make sense? Let's think about this together. The next phase now is $3,000 to $4,400. Okay, so this is the completion of project 1. That's good stuff. How many people that totally replaces what you make full time? You can go to your boss and politely say your services are no longer needed. How many people can envision that? You can go home and think about that tonight. No offense, but take offense. I'm gone, right? That type of thing. So it's just different things that you can do. You know, I know a lot of people, travel is a hot button, man. At these levels, you can also qualify for all expense paid trips. You can go places like the Fountain Blue on South Beach, a hotel that borders South Beach, the prettiest part of the beach right there. And it's open access. They kind of block 2 areas off. Only the guests that stay at the Fountain Blue are allowed to go in this part of the hotel. It's like $500 to $600 a night. When the Miami Heat won, that's where they threw their party for a championship. I mean, this place it's like top resort area in the nation. This is where people look to go in Miami. You walk outside, Phantoms, Bentleys, what else? Lamborghinis, yachts just parked outside the front. I would never be caught staying in a place like this on an accountant's salary. Does that make sense? You ever get someplace and you're like, normally I wouldn't have been here, but this is nice, right? So here's what I heard. If nothing changes, nothing changes. So I would have been relegated to Holiday Inn Select for the rest of our lives, trying to give my wife the best life I possibly could if we didn't take what we saw here seriously. I think that's really the difference maker in what I'm telling you. Some people take it seriously, some people don't. I did. I was like, let's see what we got, right? So you've got that. You hold that level, they give you extra bonuses, $5,000, $15,000 bonuses. I mean, we talked about $2,000 covering your bills, $15,000 covers your bills, but maybe for a few months. Maybe you just lop that in the savings, put a padlock on it and go, I'll talk to it when I want to, right? That makes sense? So that's all that. So anybody have any thoughts of what you would do with a $15,000 check? Anybody think about what that would mean to you? What would you do with that? Okay, savings until you can, let me get a game plan here. Yeah. Christian Louis Vuitton, about 4 shoes. I'm wiped out, so let me think, let me pause, right? That type of thing, right? What would you do with $15,000 there, Justin? Okay, oh, your son would be very happy. You guys are so responsible. What about you? Student loans. Okay, gotcha. And the rest in savings, absolutely. I figured somebody would say what we did. I cashed it. That's what you know. A check with $15,000 on it, it does not look real. I mean, the skeptical came out in me, like, no, baby, sign this quick. What am I signing? Don't just close your eyes and sign it. I'll be back, right? So it's just different things. But you talk about the combination of time and money, man. And one thing that you need in order for that to happen too, I'll give you some more benefits. It is residual. You do the work once, you do it properly, you can get paid for the rest of your life on top of that. So it's residual. I think, babe, it's 5 years in a row now we've gotten that check. If that, going on our 6th. Residual, based on work that I did 6, 7, 8 years ago, right? Not going anywhere. So here's the next thing. Residual, you can also will it 2 generations. So I don't know, do any of you have kids? Okay, there you go. So if you're thinking about, okay, what do I leave them when I leave? I couldn't leave my son my accounting career. I would have talked them out of it. I'd been like, you don't want to do that. It's boring. You don't want to do that. Find something else to do, And you think about how many parents don't encourage their kids to do what they did because they just got done living it for the past 20, 25 years. But how cool is it to say, no, I'd like to will this to them based on what we've done in this type of thing. So that's an option if you have children, if you're thinking about that next generation. So there's a lot of cool little things in there. I won't, hit you with all of it. But again, helicopter view, just so tonight, the decision that you made to come out for an hour to see how this works can either be validated or not validated. So that's what I wanted to do tonight. Now what we do, though, is coming out of here, we take that second step. You liked what you saw. Here's what the second step communicates to me and all my leaders. It does not mean ready to go, sign me up, this type of thing. But you may feel that way. I'm a quick decision maker. That's how I am. I'm like, let's do it. Let's do it. Watch this. I spent $180 on way dumber stuff in my life. You know what I'm saying? Anybody utter these words, keep it open? You're like, oh God, I can't eat for a month. Okay, here. And you have to do it to get your card back. Trust me, I thought about it. But anyway, so 180, not a big deal for, but that's not saying that third step, that's what happens. Here's what you can expect in the third step, as a matter of fact. Let me itemize it for you and I'll finish out. The first thing that you can expect in that next step is no more than 20 to 30 minutes. Okay? No more than that you're going to sit down with the person who invited you out. The only reason it would be 30 minutes is if you have a ton of questions, if you're that detailed oriented person, which is fine, right? But that's step one right there. The next thing that you can expect is no pressure. Is that okay to say? Can you kind of take a deep breath on that? Meaning we don't get paid for signing people up. That's big. So it's not timeshare. Keep you there, talk as hard as I'm not dissing timeshare, but I've heard things, I shouldn't say that because I've never been through one, but I've heard, you just talk to them long enough and pressure. That's not what you do right there, okay? So no pressure. Answers is another thing that you can expect in that third step. Not that I haven't been giving you answers tonight, but you might have a couple of secondary follow-up questions. That's fine, okay? Once again, I think the opportunity to make $3,000 outside of what you're doing full-time is worth you getting those questions answered to see if it's something that can work for you. Most people that I invite and talk to, they're the type of people that don't like making decisions with partial information. That's why when you go to buy a car, you buy anything, you ask questions. How does this work? What's the warranty? What's the this? I'm getting ready to make a decision. I'd like all the information so I make an educated decision. So that's what that third step gives you. No 20, 30 minutes, no pressure, answers. And then last but not least, if you want one, this was, if you're more like me, quick decision maker, that type of thing, we'll give you a game plan for growth. Okay. We'll introduce you to our mentorship and leadership program, okay? We'll talk about that type of stuff. That's big in what we do. But that last step there, a game plan, that basically takes it from a whiteboard, blue marker, me just talking at you through a microphone to, okay, now you talk a little bit. What does your day look like? What do your weekends look like? When are you not available? When do you work late? When do you just need time to relax? Okay, let's put it all together. Let's see so that's what you can expect. All right, so I had a great time chatting with you guys. If I haven't met you, let's chat a little bit and have a great night. Get home safe.